3 years ago, I owned 47 subscriptions. I counted them on a Tuesday night after my credit card statement made me physically nauseous. 47. Streaming services, meal kits, cloud storage I forgot existed, a meditation app I opened twice, a wine club I signed up for at a farmer's market because the lady was nice. Over $200 a month was walking out of my bank account for things I didn't use, didn't need, and in some cases didn't even remember buying. That same month, my savings account had $1,100 in it. 34 years old, decent income, $1,100 to my name. Something was fundamentally broken, and it wasn't my paycheck. My name is Amy. I finally got my money under control, not because I suddenly started earning 6 figures or inherited a bag of money from a dead uncle. What changed was simpler than that. I stripped away the financial noise until all that was left was signal. And what I'm about to share is not a decluttering video. Nobody's sleeping on a yoga mat here. This is 50 specific rules I adopted over 3 years that collectively moved over $2,400 a month from garbage I didn't need into investments that now pay for themselves. If your money keeps disappearing before you can do anything real with it, subscribe, because this video is the answer to where it's going and how to get it back. The Invisible Drain, Rules 1 through 10. Let's start with the leaks you can't see. They're too small to notice one at a time, but together, they're devastating. Rule 1. Cancel every subscription you haven't used in 14 days. Not 30, 14. The industry counts on 30 days, giving you just enough wiggle room to think, maybe next week. 14 days is honest. If you haven't touched it in 2 weeks, you don't need it. I went from 47 subscriptions to 9. That single move freed up $186 a month. Rule 2. Stop paying for convenience you could replace with 10 minutes of effort. Meal kits, pre-cut vegetables, premium delivery, express shipping. I added it all up one night and nearly choked. $340 a month on various forms of I don't want to wait, or I don't want to do it myself. You know what $340 a month becomes if you invest it for 20 years? Roughly $263,000. $250,000. For the privilege of not chopping an onion. Rule 3. One in, one out. Before anything physical comes into my life, something physical has to leave. It forces you to be honest with yourself. Standing in your closet deciding what goes to make room for the new jacket, you realize pretty fast you don't want the new jacket that badly. My clothing spending dropped 60% the first year. Rule 4. Cut off every channel that tries to sell you things. Shopping apps, gone from my phone. Marketing emails, unsubscribed from all of them one Sunday afternoon, took about 2 hours. No more scrolling Amazon just to see what's new. No more wandering through Target on a Saturday because I'm bored. Here's what I learned. You cannot be tempted by a sale you never hear about. The apps, the emails, the store layouts, they're all designed to turn a person with money into a person with stuff. So just stop showing up for the conversion. Rule 5. Build a purchase checkpoint. Anything over $50 goes on a list and I come back to it in 72 hours. When I come back, one question. Will this still matter to me in 5 years? New couch? Probably. Third pair of running shoes? No. About 80% of the things on that list I never go back for. The want was real in the moment. It just didn't survive 3 days. Rule 6. Automate savings on payday, not at the end of the month. The money moves before I see it. Mine's set at 25%, and my entire monthly life is built around the 75% that remains. You can't spend what you never had access to. Rule 7. Stop buying duplicates. At one point, I owned 4 phone chargers, 3 umbrellas, 2 sets of headphones, and enough pens to supply a middle school. Every duplicate means you're not keeping track of what you already have. Once I committed to one of each essential, I started actually taking care of my stuff. The slow drip of replacement purchases just stopped. Rule 8. Track every dollar for 30 days. Not budgeting, just tracking. Write down what you spend and what you spend it on. No judgment, no categories. By the end of that month, I found $847 in spending I could not explain to myself with a straight face. Not going to tell you what those purchases were because it's embarrassing. But that awareness changed my behavior more than any budget app ever had. Rule 9. Turn off every notification on your phone that isn't from a human being. No more push alerts from shopping apps, news apps, deal aggregators. Every ping is a tiny interruption that costs you attention, and attention is what you spend before you spend money. Once my phone stopped yelling at me 60 times a day, I started making decisions on my own schedule instead of on theirs. Rule 10. Do a full audit of your phone's screen time and delete any app where you're averaging more than 30 minutes a day without a clear purpose. Social media, games, news feeds. Not because they're evil, but because every hour spent doom scrolling is an hour not spent on anything that moves your life forward. That freed up, genuinely, 2 hours a day for me. Used about half of it to build my first side income. The Upgrade Trap, Rules 11 through 20. This next batch is about the most expensive lie in consumer culture. Newer is better, and better is worth paying for. Rule 11. If it works, it stays. My phone has a scratch on the screen. My car has 140,000 miles on it. Insurance is cheap, no payments in 4 years, and both do exactly what I need them to do. The moment I stopped treating still functional as outdated, I started keeping thousands of dollars a year that used to go to manufacturers in exchange for a slightly nicer version of something I already had. Rule 12. Buy the previous generation of everything. Last year's model of almost any product works the same as this year's at 30 to 50% less. Phones, laptops, cars, TVs. The difference between the two is marketing copy. The difference in your bank account is real. Rule 13. Stop financing things that lose value. If it depreciates, pay cash or don't buy it. This one rule eliminated car payments, electronics financing, and furniture installment plans from my life entirely. Rule 14. Choose a uniform. Not literally the same outfit every day, but a system. A handful of pieces that all work together. Clean blazers, simple blouses, one good coat, 2 pairs of shoes. Getting dressed takes 90 seconds. Haven't bought clothes in 8 months because everything I own still works, still fits, still looks fine. You'd be surprised how much people blow on clothes without noticing. For me, it used to be over $1,800 a year. Now it's about $400. Rule 15. Negotiate every recurring bill once a year. Internet, phone, insurance. 1 call each, 10 minutes max. Last year, that saved me $1,740. All I said was, Is this the best rate you can offer me? That's it. One sentence. Most people never say it. The companies are banking on that. Rule 16. Stop upgrading your living space to match your income. When I got my last raise, the first instinct was to look for a nicer apartment. Didn't do it. Stayed put. The entire raise went to investments. That one non-decision has been the most profitable thing I've ever done. Rule 17. Cook at home 6 days a week. The 7th day, eat out and actually enjoy it because it's a treat, not a default. My food spending dropped to about a third of what it used to be, and honestly, I eat better because cooking forces you to pay attention to what you're putting in your body. Rule 18. Buy in bulk for things you use every month and never in bulk for things you might use. Toilet paper, olive oil, rice, laundry detergent? Yes. Specialty sauces, exotic snacks, 10 packs of anything because it's on sale? No. Bulk buying stuff you might use is just pre-buying garbage. You're paying today for something you'll throw away in 6 months. Rule 19. Never pay full price for anything you can wait for. Appliances go on sale during holiday weekends. Clothes go on sale seasonally. Electronics get cheaper every single quarter. Patience works everywhere, and it never expires. Rule 20. Remove the word deserve from your financial vocabulary. I used to walk past something expensive and think, I work hard, I deserve this. And you know what? I probably did. But I also deserved to not be stressed about money at 3 a.m. Those two things are usually fighting each other, and only one of them has compound interest on its side. The social tax. Rules 21 through 30. This is where it gets uncomfortable, because these rules involve other people. Rule 21. Set a gift budget for the entire year, divide it across birthdays and holidays, and stick to it. That includes the office Secret Santa, the acquaintance baby shower, all of it. Here's my honest opinion on gift giving. Nobody who actually cares about you wants you to go into debt for a present. And nobody at the office remembers what you gave them last December. Rule 22. Stop splitting checks at expensive restaurants you didn't choose. If someone picks a place where entrees are $40 and you would have been happy at a $15 spot, order what you're comfortable with and ask for a separate check. That's not being cheap. That's being honest. Rule 23. Say no to at least one social spending event per week. Not all of them. Just the one you were going to show up to out of guilt, not because you actually wanted to be there. That one no saves me roughly $200 a month. Rule 24. Stop keeping score against other people's purchases. My neighbor bought a boat last summer. My coworker leased a BMW. Good for both of them, genuinely. I have no idea what their finances look like, and they have no idea what mine look like. The second you use someone else's spending as your benchmark, you've handed the steering wheel to a stranger. Rule 25. Start being honest about money with your close friends. Not salary, not net worth, just your choices. I'm skipping that trip because I'm putting the money toward investments. I was terrified the first time I said that out loud. You know what happened? 3 of my friends said they wished they could do the same thing. One of them actually started. Rule 26. Notice which friendships cost you the most money and change the context. Don't drop anyone, Just stop meeting those friends exclusively at bars and restaurants. Invite them over. Cook dinner. Go for hikes. Same people, better conversations, fraction of the cost. Rule 27. Cancel every membership you joined for appearances. The co-working space you rented because it looked impressive, the golf club you joined because a colleague was a member. If the main reason you're paying for something is how it makes you look, you're paying for other people's perception of you. That's the worst deal in finance. Rule 28. Learn to enjoy being the least flashy person in any room. This took me time. It's a muscle. But once you realize that the people spending the most visibly are often building the least quietly, something shifts. You stop wanting to be noticed for what you own and start wanting to be free because of what you've kept. Rule 29. Stop saying yes to weddings, bachelorette parties, and destination events you can't actually afford. This one was the hardest because it feels selfish, but I'd rather send a heartfelt card and a modest gift than fly across the country on a credit card and resent the trip for 6 months while I pay it off. Rule 30. Set a hard cap on how much you'll spend on any single social event. Mine is $100. Dinner with friends, birthday outing, weekend plan, whatever it is. If it costs more than that, I either find a cheaper version of it or I sit it out. Having the number decided ahead of time takes the emotion out of the moment. You're not being stingy. You're following a rule you already made. The system rules. 31 through 40. These are the structural rules. They automate the savings so willpower stops mattering. Rule 31. Consolidate everything down to 2 bank accounts and 1 brokerage. Checking, savings, investments. That's it. Every extra account is complexity pretending to be organization. Simplicity lets you see where your money actually is. Rule 32. Set up automatic weekly investments. Not monthly, weekly. Every Monday, a fixed amount moves from checking to my index fund. 52 investments a year instead of 12. The money is gone before I can talk myself out of it. Spoiler: every week is a good week to invest when you're thinking in decades. Rule 33. 1 credit card. Good rewards program, paid off every Friday. 1 card means 1 statement, 1 balance to track, 1 number to call if something goes wrong. People with 5 cards think they're maximizing rewards. What they're actually maximizing is confusion and the odds of missing a payment. Rule 34. Keep a 15-minute monthly budget. Every dollar has a job before the month starts. No miscellaneous category, no slush fund. Dollars that don't get assigned go to investments by default. 15 minutes, once, and then your money runs itself for the next 30 days. Rule 35. Quarterly purge. Every 3 months, walk through your apartment. Anything you haven't touched goes to resale. Last year, I made $2,300 selling stuff I forgot I owned. That was dead weight in my closet. Now it's compounding in the market. Rule 36. Batch all errands into 1 trip per week. Groceries, pharmacy, whatever else. This saves gas, saves time, and kills the, well, I'm already out, might as well pop into impulse stop that somehow always costs $40. Rule 37. Keep fixed expenses under 50% of take-home pay. Rent, insurance, car, utilities, subscriptions. If they creep past half, cut something. That guarantees room for saving, for emergencies, and for actually enjoying life. When fixed costs eat 70 or 80% of your check, and a lot of people are in that range, one bad month becomes a crisis. Rule 38. Check your net worth on the first of every month. Not to obsess, just to observe. Watching that number climb, even slowly, reinforces every other rule on this list. It turns the daily discipline from, "Why am I doing this?" into, "Oh, that's why." Rule 39. This one's going to be controversial, so let me be upfront. I keep 1 month of expenses in cash, and everything else stays invested. That is more aggressive than what most financial advisors recommend. A lot of smart people would tell you to keep 3 to 6 months liquid. And if that makes you sleep better at night, you should absolutely do that. For me, the opportunity cost of letting that much money sit when it could be compounding felt too steep. But I also carry a credit card with a zero balance for true emergencies, so I'm not flying without a net. Know your own risk tolerance before you copy this one. Rule 40. Set a hard rule for windfalls. Tax refund, bonus, side income, birthday money, anything unexpected. 50% goes straight to investments, and 50% is yours to spend guilt-free. This takes the argument out of it. No agonizing over whether to be responsible or enjoy yourself. Both. Every time, automatically. The mindset rules, 41 through 50. These last 10 hold everything else together. Without them, the first 40 fall apart within 6 months. Rule 41. Calculate purchases in hours of your life. If you make $30 an hour after taxes and a jacket costs $150, that jacket costs 5 hours. Not 5 hours of money, 5 hours of being alive, sitting at a desk, doing something you'd rather not do. Once you start converting dollars to life hours, a lot of stuff stops being worth it real fast. Rule 42. Redefine rich. Rich used to mean stuff to me. Nice car, nice apartment, nice clothes. Now it means options. Can I quit a job I hate on a Monday morning without checking my bank account? Can I take a month off if my mom gets sick? That's rich. Everything else is decoration. Rule 43. Protect your time the way you protect your money. Actually, more aggressively, because you can always earn more money. You literally cannot earn more time. Every hour spent maintaining stuff you don't need or shopping for things you don't want is an hour you stole from yourself. Once I saw it that way, letting go of things got a lot easier. Rule 44. Pick experiences over objects every time the choice shows up. There's real research showing that spending on experiences makes people happier for longer than spending on things. I believe it because I can't remember what I bought myself 3 Christmases ago, but I remember every detail of a road trip I took with my college roommate that cost less than $200. Rule 45. Treat ads as what they are: professional manipulation. Somebody got paid to make you feel like you're not enough without their product. Once you see it that way, and I mean really see it, the urge to buy fades. You're not treating a real problem. You're reacting to a manufactured one. Rule 46. Stop comparing your life to people whose full story you don't know. The guy in the Porsche might be a surgeon who worked for 15 years. He might also be 3 months from bankruptcy. No way to tell from the outside. So I just stopped looking sideways and started looking forward. Rule 47. Celebrate milestones with experiences, not purchases. When my investments crossed $100,000 for the first time, I took my parents to their favorite restaurant. Bill was maybe 60 bucks. When they crossed $200,000, which took half the time because compounding is relentless like that, I went camping for a weekend with a friend. The milestones feel bigger when the celebration doesn't subtract from the achievement. Rule 48. Read one book about money every 3 months. Not to learn new tricks, to remember why you're doing this. Consistency is boring, and boring is profitable. A good book pulls you back on track when the algorithm is showing you people living lifestyles funded entirely by debt. Rule 49. Forgive yourself when you break the rules. Because you will. Last month, I bought a pair of shoes I didn't need. Had a rough week. They were on sale. The combination got me. I didn't beat myself up about it. Returned them 2 days later when the emotion wore off. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is a system that catches you when you slip. Rule 50. Remember that what you're building is invisible. There's no designer bag on your arm. No sports car in the driveway. There's a spreadsheet that goes up a little more each month, and a stress level that goes down a little more each year. Most people won't understand, and that's fine. You're not building it for them. Let me tell you something that happened last month. I was at a barbecue, and a friend of mine, great person, showed up in a brand new truck. Huge thing. Probably $60,000, $70,000. Everyone was walking around it, complimenting the leather seats, asking about the towing capacity. And she looked at me and said, "Amy, when are you going to upgrade that Camry?" I laughed and said, "Probably never." She thought I was joking. I wasn't. That Camry is the reason I slept 8 hours last night. That Camry is the reason I didn't flinch when my furnace broke in January. The money I didn't spend replacing it is sitting in an index fund getting bigger, while her truck loses value every month she drives it. I'm not smarter than her. I'm not more disciplined. I just keep score differently. Her scoreboard is the driveway. Mine is a brokerage account. Pick 5 rules from this list. Whichever 5 feel doable right now. Write them down. Stick them on your bathroom mirror. Follow them for 30 days. Then add 5 more. 6 months from now, you'll look at your bank account and wonder where all this extra money came from. It was always there. It was just going somewhere else. Drop your 5 in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll tell you what those 5 do to your net worth over a decade. Subscribe, because next week, I'm breaking down the exact investment setup I use to make all this redirected money work while I sleep. See you in the next one.